Little girl's heartfelt 911 call. Please don't let him hurt us again. Incredible truth exposed. The sun had dipped behind the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing inside Lily's small heart. In her cozy home, nestled in a quiet Midwestern neighborhood, everything felt fragile. Trembling fingers pressed the buttons of the phone, her voice shaking as she whispered, 911, please don't let him hurt us again. It was a call born from fear, echoing the very struggles her family faced. At just 8 years old, Lily bore worries that no child should ever have to hold. Her mother, Sarah, worked tirelessly at the local diner, her hands worn but steady, forming a protective barrier between Lily and the ghosts of their past. She was a woman forged by the fires of hardship, redemption flowing through her veins. Every shift, every tip felt like drops of hope, painting a picture of a brighter future amid a world of economic uncertainty. Yet, tonight, it seemed those dreams were shattering. Lily could hear the distant wail of sirens, but what echoed louder was the fear clawing at her insides. Just days ago, he had appeared the man who once held their family together but had let them down instead. Her father, shadowed by bitterness and betrayal, he threatened to tear apart the sanctuary Sarah had painstakingly built. Stay strong, she whispered to herself, anchoring her courage in those words. Back in the diner, the air buzzed with whispers, gossip circulating like a warm embrace around the two women. The townsfolk rallied, offering support, bringing casserole dishes and warm smiles, proving how tightly knit their community was. Desperate attempts to uplift Sarah turned into fulcrums of resilience. Each story shared, each laugh healed another edge of a fractured life. No one could know the depths of Lily's heart, where confusion and innocence danced with the realization of their reality. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Lily's innocent gaze turned toward her mother, she asked, can't we just understand him, Mama? Maybe he's hurt too. Those words hung in the air like a delicate thread, prompting a battle within Sarah. Forgiveness or protection? Trust or fear? Her heart raced, caught on the edge of a precipice, longing to bridge the gap but tied to the safety of love. The moment thickened with tension, her father's presence looming like a storm cloud ready to burst. Fighting for a chance at healing meant risking everything, risking her daughter's safety for a flicker of hope. And as Sarah weighed her options, the air felt electric, filled with uncertainty and longing. Just as the door creaked open, and the weight of decision heaped upon her shoulders, one question loomed above all: would she choose to fight for the fragile safety of their lives, or could the broken threads between them weave into a tapestry of healing? The haunting silence was palpable, leaving the readers on edge, craving to see what would unfold next. The door inched open, revealing not just the figure of her father but also a wave of memories crashing over Sarah. The familiar scent of his cologne mixed with the stench of past arguments and broken promises. His eyes, once warm, now carried that haunting emptiness, the same eyes that had once looked at her with love. Sarah, he began, his voice thick with an emotion that felt strangely foreign. I just want to talk. Lily's heart raced, pounding like a drum in her small chest. She stood behind her mother, feeling the heat radiate from Sarah. Please let him not hurt us. The words formed an invisible shield, binding her mother tighter. Talk? After everything? Sarah shot back, her voice raw. You think you can just walk back in and smooth things over? You don't understand what you've done. Lily's breath hitched. It was hard to see her mother like this, so broken yet defiant. The balance between love and safety felt like a precarious dance, threatening to tip over at any moment. I know I messed up, but I can change, he pleaded, stepping into the light of their dimly lit hallway. I'm not the same man I was. I miss you both. Do you? Sarah's voice trembled, uncertainty weeping through her resolve. Or do you just miss controlling us? Silence settled like fog, thick and suffocating. In that moment, Lily's young mind raced. Was there a way to bring her family back together, or was the rift too wide? She thought of the laughter that used to fill their home birthday parties, summer picnics, her father swinging her into the air. No matter how old she was, she would never forget those flickers of joy. Her gaze flitted to her mother. Sarah's expression wavered between anger and yearning, like two impossibly opposing forces waging war within her. What if he really had changed? What if they could heal? But in the back of her mind, Lily heard the eerie echo of the 911 operator's voice during that desperate call. You did the right thing, sweetheart. Had she? Could saving a shattered family mean opening the door to pain again? Then came the tiniest spark of hope, a small, flame-like wish told through her voice. Daddy, can we just try? Time froze. The room felt too small, the walls closing in on them as two worlds collided, the possibility of healing against the reality of scars that never quite faded. Sarah closed her eyes, not wanting to look at the man she once loved and the daughter who craved connection. Lily. Then, the door burst open. The police, their faces stone cold, entered in a wave of authority. Ma'am, we received a distress call. Their presence was overwhelming, but it felt like a lifeline to Lily. Please, Lily's voice quivered, breaking through the heat. Don't take him away. We can fix this. The tension electrified the air again. Decisions were about to be made, and lives hung in the balance, teetering just out of reach, but as the officers stepped forward, ready to intervene, one question loomed powerfully: would this moment break them apart forever or lead them toward an unexpected path of mending? The door of possibilities opened, leaving readers breathless at what was about to unfold next. The silence was shattered as one of the officers stepped forward, a stern look crossing his face as he scanned the scene. Ma'am, he said, directing his gaze at Sarah, can you explain what is happening here? Sarah couldn't answer right away. Her heart was racing. This was supposed to be a conversation, a weighing of what was lost against what could be regained. But now, it felt like an impending storm, and she was standing directly in its path. He just came back, Sarah stammered, her voice barely above a whisper, but the fear was all too clear. She glanced at Lily, who held onto her mother's waist, her small fingers gripping tightly. He wants to talk. Is that true? One officer queried, turning to Lily's father. His expression was unreadable, like he was trying to gauge the stability of a ticking time bomb. Yes, her father replied, his voice trembling a bit. I want to do better. I want to fix this. Is that what you call coming back after years with no word? You're just going to sweet-talk your way back into their lives? The officer's voice was firm, like a concrete wall pressing down on her father's flimsy excuses. Lily felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She knew her father had made mistakes, but didn't he at least deserve a chance to explain? It felt so heavy, the tug-of-war in her heart. Please, she said again, her voice fortified by desperation. We can make it work. Sarah's gaze swung from the officer to her daughter, whose innocence pierced right through the tension in the air. That look, a willing heart, an open mind, only deepened the scars written all over Sarah's own. Could she really risk it again? The officer rubbed his chin. We can't just let emotions dictate this situation. Look, as far as we can tell, this man might still pose a threat. You both need to consider what's best for your safety. Safety? Lily echoed, her voice trembling. But what about family? Sarah swallowed hard, feeling like she was caught between two worlds. Her daughter was so brave, and yet so young. All this time, she had been trying to protect Lily, but hadn't realized she might be locking her out from something else entirely, the chance of healing and forgiveness. "We just want to talk," her father interjected, the tremor in his voice shifted to an edge of desperation. "Please don't take me away. I know I hurt you both, but I'm here now." Tension hung thick. In that moment, memories bubbled to the surface again, the laughter and love that used to fill their home swirling together with the pain and absence. It felt so much easier to retreat into anger, to hold on to the resentment. But could confronting the past mean opening the door to a brighter future? "Mom," Lily said, her voice steady, "what do we do?" Sarah's heart ached at the weight of her daughter's question. Standing there felt like being stuck on a tightrope, swaying between the fear of loss and the hope of connection. She wanted to keep Lily safe, but what could that really look like now? I don't know, sweetie," Sarah finally whispered, the uncertainty laced through her words. Suddenly, a shout rang out from outside. "Get down! Everyone get down!" It was the commanding voice of another officer. The room erupted into chaos. The police were shouting, rushing in response to something, but Lily could barely comprehend what was happening. She grabbed her mother's hand, fear scrambling her thoughts. Just when they were close to a pathway of healing, something outside threatened to derail it all. "What is going on?" Lily cried, clutching her mom tighter as she forced Sarah's eyes to meet hers. Just then, a loud crash reverberated through the home. Sarah's heart raced, and all she could think was, this was supposed to be a conversation. Little did they all realize, this turbulent twist was only just beginning. Lily's grip tightened around Sarah's hand as the chaos swirled around them. Outside, the sound of shouting and pounding boots echoed through the hallways, drowning out everything else. The officers exchanged urgent whispers, eyes flicking between the door and Sarah's family as they braced for whatever was about to happen. "Mom, I'm scared," Lily breathed, her voice trembling, a deer caught in headlights. "Stay close to me," Sarah whispered back, trying to summon a wave of calm even as panic clawed at her throat. She adjusted her hold on Lily, desperate to shield her daughter from the looming danger. "We need to leave," one of the officers shouted. "Everyone, now!" Without thinking, Sarah grabbed Lily and hurried toward the back of the house, her heart pounding in time with their footsteps. She was torn between the need to protect her daughter and the questions swirling in her mind about her husband's return. How could he come back now, in the middle of a crisis? Did he even care how it affected them? As they reached the back door, they met another officer who was directing them swiftly outside. "Stay low. Move." The yard was a whirlwind of activity. Police cars lined the street, their lights flashing ominously. Sirens wailed in the air, cutting through the tension like a knife. Sarah could see a small group of neighbors gathered at a distance, faces etched with concern. They climbed down the steps, and Lily's small frame seemed to lift with hope as they finally emerged. But the moment was fleeting. Two other officers appeared, their expressions stern. "Ma'am, we need you to stay back," one called out as they shuffled them away from the door. "What's happening?" Sarah asked, her voice laced with fear. "Possible suspect in the area," another officer replied, eyes scanning the surroundings. "You need to move to safety. We'll handle it." Lily's eyes darted back toward the house. Could her father still be inside? What about him? She asked, panic rising. But her mother's grip tightened around her. "Just focus on us, okay?" Sarah said softly, kneeling down to be at eye level with her daughter. "You're safe with me. I won't let anything happen to you." Yet, deep inside, fear gnawed at Sarah's gut. How could she assure Lily of safety when she couldn't even protect her family from the past? The very thing they had been trying to reconcile might still shatter them. The thought was unbearable. Just then, an officer's voice boomed out, "Everyone, stay back. There's a situation escalating." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from inside the house, enough to cause the air to freeze. The officers rushed towards the sound while Sarah instinctively pulled Lily closer. "What is that?" Lily cried out, her wide eyes reflecting shock. "I don't know, honey," Sarah answered, feeling her heart race. But as much as uncertainty threatened to overwhelm them, she knew she needed to be strong. "Mom?" Lily's voice quivered, eyes darting around. "What if he—" Before she could finish, the shattering of glass cut through the night like a scream. The living room window exploded outward, sending shards flying across the yard. "Get down!" An officer shouted again, causing everyone to drop to the ground, their hearts pounding together in shared fear. As they crouched low, Sarah could sense the weight of the moment, the culmination of regret, anger, and fear. This moment was supposed to be about healing, about possibility. Instead, it was tearing them apart. Blinded by panic, Sarah's thoughts spiraled. What if this confrontation didn't just threaten them? What if it endangered everything they had tried to rebuild? "Mom," Lily squeaked, clinging desperately to her. That little whisper held all the strength of love and fear, and it settled like a heavy blanket over Sarah's heart. Then another shout pierced through, breaking the chaos. "Freeze! This is the police!" A hush fell, but fear still buzzed in the air like electric tension. Would they learn the truth now? Sarah felt her heart thump in rhythm with those shouts. Was truth what they sought, or should they prepare for the worst? The shadows lengthened. And Sarah realized they were standing on the edge of something monumental. What would come next could reshape their family forever. The tension hung thick in the air, every heartbeat amplifying the silence that had fallen over the crowd. Sarah felt a cold sweat trickle down her back as she scanned the darkened windows of their home. Each shadow seemed to pulsate with dread, twisting into memories she had hoped to forget. "Mom, I want to go home," Lily whimpered, her tiny body trembling next to Sarah's. "I know, sweetie. We will. Just hold on tight," Sarah murmured, her voice breaking a bit as she squeezed Lily's hand. They were supposed to be safe here. They had fought so hard to create a sanctuary, but now it felt more like a trap. The officers had formed a line in front of the house, weapons drawn, eyes narrowed and focused. Sarah could see a few neighbors peering out from behind their curtains, faces ashen with concern. Someone shouted from the side of the house, and tension spiked again. Every command from the officers seemed to slice through the night, echoing off the pavement as they coordinated their movements with precision. "Mom!" Lily whimpered again, more distressed this time. The sound of sirens mixed with frightened whispers from spectators made everything seem surreal. What if he really comes back? What if they can't stop him? "Don't think that way, honey," Sarah said, forcing herself to sound steady even as panic fluttered in her chest. "They're trained. They're here to help us." But even as the words left her lips, doubt bit at her confidence. Could anyone truly protect them from the sins of the past? From behind the officers came another shout, even louder than before, "Stand down. Suspect has been contained." A murmur spread among the onlookers, a wave of relief laced with uncertainty. But for Sarah, it only deepened her fear. Contained? What did that mean? It felt like a thin veil over reality, and her heart ached with the weight of the unknown. "Mommy, please," Lily wailed, her little voice breaking through Sarah's thoughts. "I want to see Dad." The words made Sarah flinch. How could she explain to Lily the truth? That the man they had loved was now an anchor dragging them down through turbulent waters? At that moment, an officer jogged over to them, his face stern, yet his tone gentle. "Ma'am, you should really go wait in your neighbor's yard. For safety, please." "No." Sarah breathed, her grip on Lily tightening. "Please, you need to trust us," the officer urged, glancing back at the house. "We'll ensure you're safe. I promise." With a reluctant nod, Sarah stood, dragging Lily along with her. As they moved through the neighbor's yard, she glanced back at their home one last time. Parts of it were now illuminated with flashing lights, manic chaos. In the corner of her mind, a small voice whispered, what if the truth came crashing in when they least expected it? They had fought so hard, but could they really defend their hearts from what lurked within their walls? I just want my dad, Lily said quietly, her small face etched with confusion and longing. A lump lodged itself in Sarah's throat, but she swallowed it down, forcing a smile. I know. We will figure it out. But as they took cover behind a car in the neighbor's driveway, Sarah felt her phone vibrate in her pocket. She pulled it out. At first, it was just a notification, but then she saw the message pop up, a text from an unknown number. It's not over yet. I'm still here. Panic surged through her as the weight of what was coming crashed down on her. Whatever had been contained was only the beginning. What did that mean? Who was still out there? As the officers huddled, strategizing, Sarah clutched Lily tighter and whispered, hold on, baby. We'll get through this together. But a creeping dread unfurled in her mind. The truth they had fought to face might be worse than she had ever imagined. The cold metal of the car pressed against Sarah's back, but the chill she felt was deeper than the temperature. It slithered through her veins, taking root in the pit of her stomach. She held Lily close, feeling the small girl's heart race beneath her little ribs. What if it is him? Lily's voice was barely a whisper, but it cut through Sarah. What if he comes back? Like in the stories? Stories aren't real, Annie, Sarah said softly, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling around them. He can't hurt us anymore. Lily didn't respond, her gaze lost on the world outside. It broke Sarah's heart to see that flicker of hope snuffed out, but she needed to be strong. For both of them. She twisted her phone in her hand, staring at that haunting message like it was a snake coiled and ready to strike. Throat dry, she tried to swallow the fear that threatened to choke her. For a moment, the noise of the world faded away, the urgent calls of officers, the murmur of the curious neighbors, until all she heard was Lily's breathing, rapid and thin. Sarah turned her head slightly, the official's warning still rang in her ears. Stay down, the officer had said, urgency clear in his tone. We're trying to secure a perimeter. But what did that mean for them? There was no comfort in knowing that there were trained officers at the scene. How safe could they be when the threat was personal? When it was someone they once loved? Mom? Lily's voice tugged at her, pulling her back from the ledge of her thoughts. Yes, honey? Promise you'll keep me safe? Always, Sarah replied without hesitation, even as a wave of uncertainty washed over her. Just then, she caught sight of an officer breaking from the group, moving toward them with determination. The harsh light bounced off his badge, catching her attention. Ma'am. He called, his voice loud and commanding. I need to ask you some questions. Can you stand up for me? No. Lily cried, burying her face in Sarah's shoulder. Please. The officer's voice softened as he got closer, his eyes scanning the area. It's about your husband. Don't say his name, Sarah cut in, the words threatening to break free as well. I need you to listen, he pressed. We need to secure this area first. Your safety is our top priority. Can you help us? Sarah's heart raced. She felt as if a dam had burst within her, panic flooding her thoughts. She nodded slowly, unsure. In that moment, she remembered the comforting laugh they used to hear together, how every evening was wrapped in family joy. But now that laughter felt like a distant echo, tainted by memories of fear and betrayal. Mommy? Lily's small voice broke through again, clearer now. Is it true? Is Dad really bad? Tears pricked at Sarah's eyes. It's complicated, baby, she whispered. But we aren't alone anymore. The officer's expression softened, reading the fear etched in her face. I need you to trust me. We can't let anything happen to you. As he stepped back, Sarah watched the chaos around her, adrenaline pumping through her. Every second counted. The world felt like a spinning top, teetering on the edge, ready to fall. The officer turned and headed back, and Sarah's resolve strengthened. She had to protect Lily, whatever it took, but as she turned her attention back to the house, a shadow moved in the corner of her vision. It was just a flicker, at first a blurry silhouette against the light, but Sarah's breath caught in her throat. "Mom, what's wrong?" Lily asked, her innocent eyes searching Sarah's face. I don't know, sweetheart," was all she could manage, her heart hammering. Was it just a trick of the light, or was something truly watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike? Before she could speak further, a loud crack echoed from the direction of their home. Was it the sound of a door slamming shut? Or the final breath of the past coming back to haunt them? Could she trust her own instincts when everything felt like a blur of fear and desperation? The moment loomed heavy with unanswered questions, and Sarah felt the world narrowing down to a point. "Please, don't let him hurt us again," she whispered fiercely, not just to Lily, but to the universe at large. What had they truly unleashed from those shadows? Sarah's heart raced, a deafening drumbeat in her ears as she strained to listen, her body tensed for any sound. The crack resonated again, this time followed by a low rumble, like thunder growling in the distance. It sent a shiver down her spine, the kind that twisted your gut with a primal instinct to run. "Mommy!" Lily whispered, her small voice trembling against Sarah's shoulder. "What was that?" "I don't know, baby," Sarah said, her tone trembling but trying to sound calm. "Stay close to me." The officer had just walked away, but she could still feel the weight of his presence, a reminder that they weren't completely alone. Yet, the thought of what lay just beyond the metal cage of the car felt suffocating. With every passing second, her courage waned. The world around them turned into a blur of chaos, bright lights flashing and voices shouting instructions, but all she could think about was the shadow she'd glimpsed, and if it was indeed someone they had once loved, now twisted and unrecognizable. "Mommy, I saw a man." Lily's eyes widened, the innocence of childhood clashing with the fear of reality. "He was looking at us." Sarah felt the blood drain from her face. "What do you mean, sweetie? What did he look like?" Lily hesitated, her brow furrowing as she pieced together fragments of her memory. He was wearing a dark hoodie. "I don't know, it was fast. Really fast." The description struck a chord deep within Sarah. Panic surged, threading through the last remnants of her composure. It couldn't be. He had promised not to come back. He had promised her a new start. Yet, here they were, inches away from the horror she hoped they had escaped. "Stay down, Lily," Sarah urged, her voice trembling slightly as she pulled her daughter closer. Just then, the officer returned, his face taut with urgency. "Ma'am, we need to evacuate you and your daughter. There may be a situation developing." "Developing? What do you mean? What situation?" Panic laced her words. "Is it him? Is he here?" "I can't discuss too much right now," he said, his eyes scanning their surroundings. "But I need you to trust that we have a team working to keep you safe. Can you do that?" The officer's confidence was meant to comfort her, but it instead sparked frustration. She wanted answers, not vague reassurances. But then she glanced down at Lily, who had buried her face against her mother's side. "I need you, Sarah," the officer said, breaking her focus. "We can't move unless you cooperate. Can you stand with me and follow my lead?" Sarah took a deep breath, squeezing Lily tightly. "Yes. We'll do whatever you say." "Good," he said, extending his arm, before glancing around as if weighing the risks. "When I say to move, I need you to run to the car parked nearby. The officer there will keep you safe." "Mommy, I'm scared," Lily murmured, her voice choked with unshed tears. "I know, sweetheart," Sarah whispered fiercely, wiping away a stray tear from Lily's cheek. "But we have to be brave right now." The officer's expression tightened. "On my count. 3, 2, 1." Just as he shouted, "Go." A loud crash echoed like thunder, shaking the ground beneath them, sending shards of fear racing up Sarah's spine. "Run!" she cried, propelling them forward as adrenaline coursed through her veins. But even as they dashed toward safety, a chill crept back into her heart. Was he truly lurking in the shadows? Did he know where they were? The sound of another crashing noise echoed, and dread filled the air like thick fog. The sight of the second patrol car flickered ahead, shining a beacon of hope. But with the cacophony surrounding them, Sarah couldn't shake the nagging fear that this was only the calm before an impending storm. "Mommy, what if he catches us?" Lily's voice trembled. "That won't happen," Sarah reassured, squeezing her hand tighter. But even as she said it, her heart doubted her own words. At that moment, Sarah spotted a figure lurking near the edge of their property, too close, too ominous. A shadow flickered between the trees. Watching, the officer's shout pulled her from the abyss of terror trying to engulf her. "It's not safe here," he yelled, motioning frantically. But Sarah's gaze locked onto that figure, dread spidering through her heart once again. "Sarah!" the officer yelled, snapping her focus back. "Now!" As they sprinted toward safety, her heart raced with every step. Who had they unleashed from the shadows? And what had they truly brought upon themselves? The question hung heavy, intertwining with the fear that clawed at her insides. Would they make it to safety, or were they racing toward something much more terrifying than they could imagine? The sharp lights from the patrol car flooded the area, illuminating the clattering shadows of branches and leaves. Sarah dashed forward, her feet pounding against the ground. Every echo of sirens and distant shouting heightened the urgency within her chest. At that moment, she felt untethered, as if a storm swirled about her, blurring her surroundings in panicked haze. "Mommy!" Lily cried, her little hand clutching Sarah's tightly. "I'm here, baby, just keep running." A surge of courage propelled her forward, but doubt ricocheted painfully in her mind. What if he was out there? What if they didn't escape? The patrol car was almost within reach when suddenly, a loud crash broke the night. It shattered the air with a sound that was both terrifying and too familiar. The officer spun around, his expression shifting from urgency to alarm. The familiar shadow moved again, this time more distinctly, rushing toward them. "Get down!" he barked, shield-like arms raised. Instinctively, they dropped low. Sarah yanked Lily down, her heart thumping wildly. The moment stretched out, the world narrowing down to the sounds of heavy footsteps and the tension coiling around them like a tightrope. "Stay quiet," the officer whispered, his voice fierce and low, filled with authority. "No matter what happens." Breath hitching, Sarah barely dared to blink. The world had become a mix of shouts and commands, fear lacing every moment. She could feel Lily's frame trembling beside her, a small, precious weight of warmth, but then, from the far corner of her vision, a figure emerged like smoke, a dark silhouette, darting dangerously close to the flickering headlights. Panic clutched at Sarah's throat, tightening as she grasped the full weight of what was at stake. Behind them, the officer shouted into a radio, "We have a possible suspect near the residence monitoring." "Mommy, I can't breathe," Lily whimpered, squeezing Sarah's hand even tighter. "Just hold on, sweetie. We're going to be okay," she whispered, though doubt flooded her. How could she promise safety when they were staring directly into a nightmare? With a sudden roar, the figure lunged forward, making its way through the heavy brush, limbs thrashing. It was close enough now that she could see a face she thought she'd left behind forever. "Mommy!" Lily screamed, and Sarah's heart shattered at the sound. "No! Stay down!" Sarah's instinct kicked in, and she threw herself over her daughter, shielding her from the sight of anything that could hurt them, but it was too late. She had seen him. The darkness of his gaze burned through her, jagged and cold. It was him. The man who had promised never to return, yet here he was, lurking like a predator in the night. "Don't move," the officer commanded, gun drawn, training set on the figure approaching, but Sarah could hear only the pounding of her heart. A flood of adrenaline coursed through her veins, and in that moment, the choice crystallized. "I won't let you hurt us again," she shouted, voice fierce despite her fear. Sharp gasps echoed in the distance, muffled voices mixed with the chaotic clanging of the patrol car as they bore witness to this moment. She felt the heat of her fight igniting within her, a mother's instinct surging forward. Before she knew it, the officer was barreling forward, and Sarah grasped Lily's hand, pulling her along. They had to move. "Get to the car. Now!" the officer shouted, his voice unwavering. They dashed toward the car, panic driving them faster as she stole glances back. The menacing shadow chased behind, fingers stretching like claws, reaching for their safety. But as they burst through the door and leapt into the patrol car, shredding the boundary between safety and danger, dread anchored in her gut. For a moment, as they locked the doors, Sarah thought they had escaped. But the glint of the figure's eyes seared into her memory, a haunting reflection of everything they had fled from. "What now?" Lily asked, her expression torn between fear and confusion. I don't know, sweetie," she admitted, holding her daughter close. The officer started the engine with urgency, metal screaming against metal, but her mind raced with questions. What if he wasn't truly gone? Just as they sped away, headlights illuminating the chaos behind them, a chilling promise clawed at her mind. They had escaped, but the nightmare was far from over. "Mommy, he's still coming," Lily whimpered, her soft voice laced with dread. "No. He won't hurt us again," Sarah reaffirmed, but fear twisted and turned relentlessly. What if he didn't give up easily? What would it take for them to be truly free? With uncertainty twisting her stomach, she grappled with that burning question. Had they really outrun the shadows? Or had they just opened a door into a far more terrifying reality waiting to envelop them once more? The patrol car sped down the dark road, the tires gripping the pavement like lifelines, but the air inside was thick with fear. Sarah's hands trembled as she gripped the seatbelt, a tight band of anxiety wrapping around her chest. "Mommy, I'm scared," Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper, eyes wide with terror. "Me too, sweetie," Sarah replied, her voice steady, though her heart pounded with unresolved dread. "But we're safe in here. Just keep looking forward." The officer's eyes glanced nervously in the rearview mirror, navigating through the shadows that seemed to stretch endlessly behind them. Each passing second felt like a lifetime as their escape from the nightmare hung in the balance. "I need to call it in," he murmured, reaching for his radio. "Hold on tight. I'm calling for backup." Before he could get words out, a jolt rocked the car, sending a shockwave of panic through Sarah's veins. "What was that?" she gasped, a chill racing up her spine. "Just a bump," he assured, calming his own nerves as much as theirs, but the unease remained. "Stay low, just in case." Lily huddled closer, her small body quaking against Sarah's. For a moment, all fear felt tangible, a weight pressing down on them. Sarah felt the burning question in her mind again: how could she protect her daughter from a man who had loomed over their lives for so long? The officer's voice crackled through the radio, but static surged back at him. "Backup is on the way," he shouted, voice strained. "We just need to get to the station." Sarah's heart sank. What if he gets to the car? She thought, bringing a rush of feelings she couldn't name. All she knew was that she'd move heaven and earth to ensure Lily was safe. Suddenly, an echoing thud reverberated through the air, the sound of heavy footsteps crashing against the pavement. Panic surged again, twisting her stomach until all she could hear was the pounding in her ears. "Faster," she urged, squeezing Lily's hand. "We have to move." Sarah could feel the sharp claws of fear digging deep within her. What if he hadn't just come after them? What if he found a way to trench into their lives again, a merciless shadow that would haunt them eternally? The patrol car made a turn, and their world spun along with it, headlights slicing through the darkness, illuminating the unkempt shadows of the woods on either side. It was a jagged, fractured dance of light and dark, reflecting the turmoil within her spirit. "Mommy, I can't hold on much longer," Lily whimpered, her voice little more than a fragile thread. "Just a bit longer, honey," Sarah said, forcing a smile, though her insides twisted with anxiety. The road felt sinister as flashes of memories flickered through her mind, night sleeping with the light on, trembling as she whispered promises of safety. All she had wanted was to keep Lily safe from him, and now, here they were again. Then, the officer's phone rang. His eyes widened, darting back to Sarah. "It's the station," he said, voice steadying. "Stay quiet. Please, don't let him hurt us again." Lily's small plea wrenched Sarah's heart, and the officer's expression changed, riddled with urgency. "Okay, everyone stay calm," he instructed as he answered the call, trying to maintain an air of control. As he spoke into the device, Sarah's breath quickened with every word he spat out. "Help is coming, just a little longer," he reassured, but even as he spoke, Sarah could see the fear clinging to him too. But suddenly, a chilling thought pierced through her resolve. What if their help wasn't strong enough? What if the shadows had teeth, and what if they weren't only shadows? As they curled deeper into the night, the echo of Lily's plea hung in the air like a phantom they couldn't shake off, a thread tying them to both hope and despair. They were fleeing towards the light, but were they really safe? And in the depths of that uncertainty, a single thought lingered in Sarah's mind: what if the fight had just begun? As the patrol car sped down the dimly lit road, the darkness felt heavier than ever. The night was an oppressive blanket, filled with tension, uncertainty, and the nagging fear that their nightmare wasn't over yet. The officer's tense grip on the wheel mirrored Sarah's frantic thoughts. She clutched Lily tightly, feeling every tremor ripple through her little body. "We need to call for backup," the officer said into the radio, his voice steady, but Sarah could hear the edge of urgency. "We're en route now." "Mommy," Lily's voice quavered. "What if he finds us? What if he comes back?" The simple innocence of her question sent a jolt through Sarah. "He won," she said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. "We are safe with him." But deep inside, she wrestled with doubt, weighing the fragility of their escape against the fear of the unknown. "Mommy, I want to go home," Lily whispered, her gaze drifting to the houses they sped past, familiar and distant. Home felt like a sanctuary, yet also a battlefield. When Sarah returned her gaze to the rear-view mirror, a shiver trickled down her spine. Shadows danced in the distance, but the officer shifted in his seat, calling, "Stay low." Suddenly, as they turned a sharp corner, momentum jolted them. The car rattled, and it felt like the world was tilting again under her feet. "What was that?" she breathed, the feeling of being thrown back into chaos crashing around her. A shadow flickered just beyond the glow of the headlights. Panic sank deep into Sarah's gut. "Please, don't let him hurt us again." She echoed Lily's earlier plea. Before she could brace herself, the officer's phone buzzed relentlessly, the sound wrenching Sarah's attention. "We need information now," he barked into the radio. The air was thick with tension, suffocating and blinding. Each second stretched endlessly. "Mom," Lily's voice was quiet, almost lost in the chaos. "Is he coming for us?" Sarah wrestled with her fear, the images of what could happen racing through her mind. She glanced at Lily and saw the fear etched on her young face. The innocence in her wide eyes made Sarah's heart melt. With a gentle touch, she cupped Lily's face. "I promise, no one will hurt you again. Not while I'm here." Just then, another voice crackled over the radio. "We're tracking movement, stay alert," it warned. The officer's expression tightened, racing thoughts coursing through his mind. Sarah's breath hitched. In that moment, it all became real. A looming threat, not just her past, but the very real danger they faced now. "What is happening?" Then, a thud echoed from somewhere beyond them, shattering the thin veil of safety. The officer pushed down on the accelerator. "Hold tight," he yelled. "No." Lily gasped, her eyes wide with fear. Sarah's heart raced as the car swerved. Ahead, headlights illuminated the outline of a figure, a shadow that appeared larger than life, creeping closer with a dark intent. "Get back!" the officer shouted, a protective instinct igniting within him. Just then, time froze. The figure stepped into the light. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. It was him. It wouldn't just be a confrontation this time, he might end everything they had fought for. The officer reached for his radio, a shockwave of adrenaline pumping through him. "I need backup now. There's a suspect ahead." As they barreled closer, Sarah felt the world close in. "Mommy, he's looking for us," Lily whimpered, looking up at her, searching for reassurance. A surge of strength ignited in Sarah. "We're going to fight, Lily. Together." She could feel every ounce of her love for her daughter soaring through her veins, igniting a fire that chased away the darkness. The officer parked next to the curb, uncertainty dancing in his eyes as he braced himself. "Stay down. I'll handle this." But inside, Sarah felt a primal instinct overwhelming her. She couldn't let him confront that shadow alone. "Mom, don't." Lily pulled at Sarah's arm. "I need you to trust me," Sarah said, squeezing her hand. "We are stronger together." In a moment of resolve, Sarah flung open the door of the patrol car and leaped out, her heart pounding painfully in her chest. "Get away from my daughter," she shouted, with a strength she didn't know she possessed. The figure halted, surprise flickering across his features. Confusion warped his expression, and for a second, Sarah saw a glimpse of the man she once loved, the glimmer of vulnerability mixed with anger. "Sarah, no!" she cried, her voice steady despite the fear. "You don't get to come back and destroy us again. We will not suffer under your shadow any longer." The officer's voice joined her, echoing authority. "Step away. You have no right to them." Lily climbed out of the car, small steps timid but powerful. "You can't hurt us," she echoed, summoning her own voice against the darkness. An exchange of glances occurred, a profound moment encapsulating fear and bravery crashing together. The figure's face twisted in turmoil, his past and present waging war against one another. But Sarah knew this battle extended beyond her own pain. It was for Lily. "Enough!" the officer barked, taking a step forward, weapon drawn, and that's when the intensity boiled over. In a flurry of motion, the figure turned and fled toward the woods, shadows swallowing him whole. As sirens howled in the distance, Sarah felt the weight of a moment lifted from her shoulders, twisted knots of fear easing in her heart. Did we win? Lily trembled beside her, eyes wide with hope and disbelief. Sarah lifted her daughter into her arms, feeling the warmth of her spirit ignite in that fuzzy glow of safety. "Yes, baby. We fought together." And so they stood, amidst the chaos, united in hope, carving a new path forward. From that day on, the journey wouldn't be easy, but together they promised to heal. They would confront the shadows of their past while embracing the light of future possibilities with the love they built as their guiding force. "Mom, I believe in us," Lily whispered, her voice steady now. "So do I," Sarah replied, the flicker of hope glowing brightly in her heart. But even as they turned to walk away from the ruins of their past, the truth flickered just beyond reach. This was only a chapter in their journey. They would continue to write their story, hand in hand, holding tightly to the lessons learned, a testament of overcoming and love that would never fade. In this world, they found strength in each other, an unwavering bond against the battering storms of life. And together, they knew they would conquer anything standing in their way. If you found this journey inspiring, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Don T. Wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. And leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your voice matters. Comment down below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. Let us spread hope and strength together.